Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and pranams. Thank you very much for joining in for our Krishna book study session today. Today is the 2nd of January, 2025. Today is the most auspicious occasion of Tirubhav Tithi of Srila Jiva Goswami and Sri Jagadish Pandit. So we spoke about the glories of and the pastimes of these wonderful devotees, our Vaishnava Acharyas with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if you missed the session, you can check out our Brahma Murta session. And every day during Brahma Murta, we also discuss about the if there is any occasion to celebrate. Every day is an occasion to celebrate. So we always have this Japa talk where we glorify the holy names of the Lord. We read from this book chanting Hare Krishna. And on those days where we have special occasions, like today it's the Tirubhav Tithi of Jagadish Pandit and Jiva Goswami. So we spoke about the glories. So like that, we also cover the glories of our acharyas during the Brahma Murta session. So generally we have it at about 7 o'clock in the morning after we complete our minimum 16 rounds. And then we chant one round with Guru Maharaj for his good health. So that's generally the program. We invite all the devotees to join us for the Brahma Murta chanting session. So in today's session, we are going to talk about what is Krishna's reaction to Rukmini Devi, right? Yesterday it was awesome, isn't it? Krishna wanted to play a prank with Mother Rukmini. And what happened? Mother Rukmini, upon hearing, had to say, Krishna was saying, why did you choose to marry me? All of them, Rukmi wanted you to marry Shishupal, Jarasandha, they're all such valorous people, whereas I am just born in the Yadukul, right? And I'm not a proprietor of anything, right? Those are all kings, but I have nothing, right? I was simply herding cows and calves in Vrindavan, and even now King Ugrasena is the king. Actually, I don't have anything, right? And he's simply saying, I ran away from the battlefield, right? In this way, he was trying to test Mother Rukmini. And devotees actually, more than Krishna testing the devotees, right? The pure devotees of the Lord, the way they react, then Krishna becomes anxious, right? So when Rukmini Devi actually fell unconscious, then Krishna realizes, oh my God, what did I do? So what do I do now? Now that Rukmini Devi has fallen down unconscious, right? Krishna did not think that Rukmini Devi will be so much affected by his, casual words, he was just simply telling Rukmini Devi just to agitate her a little bit, because she was not agitated because, Krishna did not give her the Parijata tree, right? He gave it only to Satyabhama, right? But pure devotees of the Lord, they're not an expectation of being able to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this way, Rukmini Devi was not agitated, and Krishna tried to agitate Rukmini Devi a little bit, to make her a little angry, upset. But the reaction or the response of Rukmini Devi was so much, she could not stand to hear about, Krishna talking like this. Krishna asking her, to get married to somebody else is something that she could not hear. And she fell down unconscious. So this is the glory of a devotee. And most of the times the devotees put Krishna into anxiety. Why? Because the devotees are never in anxiety. Why? Because the devotees know that Krishna is always going to protect me, right? That's why the Gopas also, they go here, there, drink water from Yamuna. They go and they find a big cave, and then they don't know, they don't even think, oh my God, how is this cave suddenly sprout up in Vrindavan, right? They don't know that this is actually an Asura who has come to kill, right? Aghasura, right? But then what do they think? Arey, it's okay, let's go and play. If some harm befalls us, Krishna is there to protect us. So that is what is complete surrender, right, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So in this way, Rukmini Devi also, she's not bothered that she's not got Parijata tree or Parijata flower or whatever. But when Krishna says, oh, that you should not have married me, you should have married either Shishupala or Dantavakra or Jarasandha, like that, then, Rukmini is not able to take it. And then she immediately falls down unconscious. And then let's see now what Krishna is going to do. Okay, so from there, we are going to continue. Lord Krishna immediately realized that Rukmini had not taken his words. Okay, devotees who want to read can raise your hands. Karpagavali Mataji, go ahead. Lord Krishna immediately realized from there.
Yes, Mataji. Lord Krishna immediately realized that Rukmini had not taken his words in a joking spirit. She had taken them very seriously, and in her extreme anxiety over immediate separation from him, she had fallen into this condition. Lord Sri Krishna is naturally very affectionate towards his devotees, and when he saw Rukmani's condition, his heart immediately softened. At once he became merciful to her. The relationship between Rukmini and Krishna was like that between Lakshmi and Narayana. Therefore, Krishna appeared before Rukmini in his four-handed manifestation of Narayana. He got down from the bedside, lifted her up by her hands, and placing his cooling hands on her face, soothed the scattered hair on her head. Lord Krishna dried the wet breast of Rukmini ji with his hand. Understanding the seriousness of Rukmini's love for him, he embraced her to his chest. The Supreme Personality is expert in putting a thing reasonably for one's understanding, and thus he tried to retract all that he had said before. He is the only resort for all devotees, and so he knows very well how to satisfy his pure devotees. Krishna understood that Rukmini could not follow the statements, he had made it in a joking way. To counteract her confusion, he spoke as follows: My dear daughter of King Vidarbha, my dear Rukmini, please do not misunderstand me. Don't be unkind to me like this. I know that you are sincerely and seriously attached to me. You are my eternal companion. The words which have affected you so much are not factual. I wanted to irritate you a bit, and I was expecting you to make counter answers to those joking words. Unfortunately, you have taken them seriously. I'm very sorry for that. I expected that your red lips would tremble in anger when you heard my statement, and that you would chastise me with many words. Oh, perfection of love. I never expected that your condition would be like this. I expected that you would cast a blinking glance upon me in retaliation, and that I would thus be able to see your beautiful face in that angry mood. My dear beautiful wife, you know that because we are householders and we are always busy in many household affairs, and long for a time when we can enjoy some joking words between us. This is our ultimate gain in household life. Actually, householders work very hard day and night, but all fatigue for the day's labor. Labor is minimized as soon as they meet husband and wife together and enjoy life in many ways. Lord Krishna wanted to exhibit himself as being like an ordinary householder who delights himself by exchanging joking words with his wife. He therefore repeatedly requested Rukmani not to take those words very seriously. In this way, when Lord Krishna persuaded Rukmini by his sweet words, she could understand that he had formerly said that was not actually meant seriously, but was spoken to evoke some joking pleasure between themselves. She was therefore pacified by hearing the words of Krishna. Gradually, she was freed from all fear of separation from him, and she began to look at his face very cheerfully with her naturally smiling face. She said, My dear Lotus Lord, your statement that we're not a fit combination is completely right. It is not possible for me to come to an equal level with you, for you are the reservoir of all qualities, the unlimited personality of Godhead. How can I be fit match for you? There is no possibility of comparison with you. You are the master of all greatness, the control of three qualities, and of the object of worship for great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. As far as I am concerned, I am a product of the three modes of material nature which impede the progressive advancement of devotional service. When and where can I fit match for you? My dear husband, you have rightly said that you have taken shelter in the water of the sea as if you were afraid of the kings. But who are the kings of this material world? I do not think that the so-called royal families are kings of the material world. The kings of the material world are the three modes of material nature who are actually its controller. You are situated in the core of everyone's heart where you remain completely aloof from the touch of the three modes of the material nature, and there is no doubt about it. You say you always maintain enmity with the worldly kings, but who are the worldly kings? I think the worldly kings are the senses. They are most formidable and they control everyone. Certainly, you maintain enmity with these material senses, and you are never under the control of the senses. Rather, you are the controller of the senses, Rishikesa. My dear Lord, you have said that you are bereft of all royal power, and that is also correct. Not only your bereft of supremacy over the material world, but even your servants, those who have some attachment to your lotus feet, also give up the supremacy over the material world, because they consider the material portion to be the darkest region, which checks the progress of spiritual enlightenment. Your servants do not like material supremacy. So, what to speak of you, my dear Lord? Your statement that you do not act as an ordinary person with a particular aim of life is also perfectly correct. Even your great devotees and servants, known as the great sages and saintly persons, remain in such a state that no one can get any clue as to the aim of their lives. Human society considers them crazy and cynical. Their aim of life remains mystery to the common human being. The lowest of mankind can know, neither you nor your servants. A contaminated human being cannot even imagine the pastimes of you and your devotees. O unlimited one, when the activities and endeavors of your devotees remain a mystery to the common human beings, how can your motives and endeavors be understood by them? All kinds of energies and opulences are engaged in your servants, but still they rest at your shelter. You have described yourself as penniless, but this condition is not poverty. Mataji,
Mataji, Danat Pranam. Daivi
Danatnam.
Mama Maya Duratya Mameva Ye
Thank
Prapadyante Netam
thank you,
Tarantite.
Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Haribol?
Yes, Mataji. But low, Mataji.
Oh, volume is low. Okay.
Yes, Mataji, volume is low.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Okay.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I was just saying, Daivi Hayesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mamevaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Hayesha Gunamayi. That means the three modes of material nature, Maya Devi is my energy. Right, but the Mama Maya Duratyaya, right? This Maya is my energy, my inferior energy, and it is very, very difficult to overcome the three modes of material nature. Mameva ye prapadyante, maya metam tarantite. Right, but one who surrenders unto me can cross over the threefold material miseries or the threefold miseries of material existence. Right, what are the threefold miseries of material existence? Right, we have the adhyatmic klesha. That means what we cause the trouble by our own mind and body. Right, the illnesses that we get, the troubles that we think, we feel anxious. What is going to happen in the future? What is happening now, etc., etc. Right, the trouble that we cause to ourselves using our mind and body. That's called adhyatmic klesha. Adhibhautik klesha is those kleshas or those problems or those issues or those difficulties or those sufferings that are caused by other living entities. Right, even a mosquito can cause a lot of problem. Right, mosquito comes and bites and there is dengue fever. Then a small COVID virus can make the entire human race be situated within the four walls of the house. Right, so in this way, adi bhautik, that means the external, the other living entities can cause a lot of trouble. Right, some people may say something that may hurt us. Some people may may physically maybe they're playing cricket and you're going and sometimes the ball hits on your head or your face, then you get suffering, isn't it? So someday or the other, this life is full of kleshas, right? This adhyatmic, adhibhautik and adhidevik kleshas. Adhidevik means caused by the devatas, caused by higher power, right? We cannot, even if we know that something is bad is going to happen, we cannot do much about it. Right, like for example, we know that okay, an earthquake is going to occur at this particular place. They are also able to measure the significance of the impact that will be caused. So hence, even then we cannot completely protect ourselves because the prediction may not be correct. Right, it is supposed to occur at a particular place and people move so at least 200-500 meters away from that place. What happens? The earthquake may occur in a slightly different position, right, due to some variations. Is that flood may occur, famine may occur, fire may occur. Right, so in all these ways, life is full of sufferings, right? Due to some loss of property, loss of material body, loss of things, loss of our resources, loss of the ability to speak, hear, right? As we age, we're also losing our capacity to hear properly, speak properly, do our work properly. Right? We're all experiencing it with old age, right? At least at least if I sit for earlier I used to sit for 2 hours. I could happily get up and go and do my work. Now, I'm just 45, and now after a 2 hours class, especially Ekadashi, 2.5 hours class, I had to really stretch my hand, stretch my legs here, there. It is becoming numb, right? So we are experiencing, day in and day out, we are experiencing that we are losing our ability to function even as effectively as we used to, right, in this world itself, right? Everything is subject to deterioration, and that is the nature of the material world. So in order to focus our instead of focusing our attention to get more and more wealth, position, name, fame, glory, money, etc., what we should do, we should have the right aim in life. Right? What is that right aim in life? To hear the presence of the Lord, to understand the glory of the Lord, so that we don't have to rot in this material world life after life, but we can go back to that space, that eternal world of the Lord, where we can continuously, eternally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? And here, Rukmini Devi is now trying to tell Krishna that whatever Krishna spoke is perfect. Right? Of course, Krishna, whatever Krishna says, Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam, whatever Krishna says, that is the rule book for all mankind. That is the Dharma. Right? So, although Krishna was saying all these things just to, make Rukmini Devi a little bit irritated, but when Krishna told that, I just wanted to have some joking words with you, right? And immediately Rukmini Devi set aside all her, all her feelings of distress and suffering, and she simply want pleasure to Lord Sri Krishna. So immediately she started telling Krishna, right, that all that you spoke are perfect. And she gave a spiritual connotation to everything. Right? He said, I'm not an ordinary man. Right? And then Rukmini Devi saying, yes, you're not ordinary. Ordinary men, what do? They base their life in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Whereas you are the source of the spiritual energy. You can give us, you can help us transcend into the three modes of material nature. Right? So every point, right, you oh Krishna, you are bereft of royal power. Right? Why? Because you're not attached to it. Right? Not only are you not attached to it, but even those who aspire to become your pure devotees, they also get detached from material things. Why? Because they're attached to you, Krishna. Right? The devotees of the Lord, they don't want na dhanam, na sundarim, kavitamba jagadisha kame ma janmani shure. Bhavatat bhaktir ahituki tvai. Right? So the best opulence that a person can possess is a desire to always be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, what is the use of janam, dhanam, sundarim, kavitam, right? Fame, name, fame, glory, attraction to the opposite sex and all. What use? Right? What is the use? Tatakim. Even Shankaracharya told that. He preached the Mayavadi philosophy. Yet, at the end, he told, right, what is the use of everything else? Bhajagovindam, mudamate. Samprapte sanhite kale nahi rakshati. Dukrinya karane. Right? Nahi rakshati. There is no other protection in this material world other than chanting the holy names of Krishna, chanting the holy names of Govinda, Madhava, Madhusudana, right? Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara, Rishikesha, Vadmanabha, Damodara, Vasudeva. So apart from chanting the holy names of the Lord, there is nothing that is worthy in this material world. Oh, Muda Mate. Mate means mind. Muda means, oh, foolish mind. Don't engage yourself in doing all these things of this material world which are not going to yield any result. Engage in chanting the holy names of Lord Govinda. Engage in chanting the holy names of Lord Hari. So like that. So we see here that Rukmini Devi is contracting every statement of Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna told that I am not so good. Right? You should have married other princes. Now, Rukmini Devi is stating how Krishna, being Krishna, is the best. Right? Because all the other kings cannot even stand in front of Krishna. Because everybody else is under the three modes of material nature. Whereas Krishna is superior. Krishna is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. And she herself says, oh Krishna, you told that, that it's not proper for me to marry you because we are not equal. Right? Krishna told that, Rukmini is a great princess. Right? The queen of Vidarbha. Right? And then, who am I? I'm not even a prince. I'm just born in Yadukul. But Rukmini Devi says, yes, it's not appropriate that I marry you because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas I am simply a jiva. right? I am within the three modes of material nature. I get, like when Krishna was speaking all these words, Rukmini Devi got very bewildered. Right? Rukmini Devi, even fell unconscious, because if this is what Krishna is feeling about me, like that, she fell unconscious. But the moment Krishna told that I was just speaking these joking words, just to lighten up my heart, because for grahasthas, these kind of reciprocation between husband and wife is very nice. And then what happens? Rukmini Devi is again talking back these sweet words that Krishna spoke, but telling Krishna how Krishna is the best. And there can be nobody like Krishna. There can be no comparison to Krishna, to any of the living beings in this world. Okay, so let's move ahead. Let me share my screen. Yeah. You have described yourself as penniless. Okay. Srimati Shamapriya Mataji, go ahead. And then Sarvagopi Shri Mataji can read. And then Nilanandani Mataji. Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji Pranams.
Pranams, Mataji.
You have described yourself as penniless, but this condition is not poverty. Since there is nothing in existence but you do not need to possess anything. You yourself are everything. Unlike others, you do not require to purchase anything extraneously. With you, all contrary things can be adjusted because you are absolute. You do not possess anything, but no one is richer than you. In material world, no one can be rich without possessing. Since your lordship is absolute, you can adjust the contradiction of possessing nothing but at the same time being the richest. In the Vedas, it is stated that although you have no material hands and legs, you accept everything offered in devotion by the devotees. You have no material eyes and ears, but still you can see and hear everything everywhere. Although you do not possess anything, the great demigods who accept prayers and worship from others come and worship you to solicit your mercy. How can you be categorized among the poor? My dear Lord, you have also stated that the richest section of human society does not worship you. This is also correct because persons who are puffed up with material possession think of utilizing their property for sense gratification. When a poverty stricken man becomes rich, he makes a program for sense gratification due to his ignorance of how to utilize his hard earned money. Under the spell of external energy, he thinks that his money is properly employed in sense gratification and thus he neglects to render your transcendental service. My dear Lord, you have stated that persons who possess nothing are very dear to you, renouncing everything. Your devotee wants to possess you only. I see, therefore, the great sages like Narad Muni who does not possess any material property is still very dear to you, and such persons do not care for anything but your lordship. My dear Lord, you have stated that a marriage. That a marriage between persons equal in social standing, beauty, riches, strength, influence, and renunciation can be a suitable match. But this status of life can be possible only by your grace. You are the supreme perfectional source of all opulences. Whatever opulent status one may have is all derived from you. As described in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yata. You are the supreme source from which everything emanates, the reservoir of all pleasures. Therefore, persons endowed with knowledge desire only to achieve you and nothing else. To achieve your favor, they give up everything, even the transcendental realization of Brahman. You are the supreme, ultimate goal of life. You are the reservoir of all interest of the living entities. Those who are actually well motivated desire only you. And for this reason, they give up everything to attain success. Therefore, they therefore deserve to associate with you. In the society of servitors and served in the Krishna consciousness, one is not subjected to pains and pleasures of material society, which functions according to the sex attraction. Therefore, everyone with a man or woman should seek to be an associate in your society of servitors and served. You are the personality of Godhead. No one can excel you, nor can anyone come up to an equal with you. The perfect social system is that in which you remain in the center, being served as supreme, and all others engage as your servitors. In such a perfectly constructed society, everyone can remain eternally happy and blissful. My Lord, continue, Manaji.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Lord, you have stated that only the beggars praise your glories, and that is also perfectly correct. But who are those beggars? Those beggars are all exalted devotees, liberated personalities, and those in the renounced order of life. They are all great souls and devotees who have no other business than to glorify you. Such great souls forgive even the worst offenders. These so called beggars execute their spiritual advancement in life, tolerating all tribulations in the material world. My dear husband, do not think that I accepted you as my husband out of my inexperience. Actually, I followed all these great souls. I followed the path of these great beggars and decided to surrender my life unto your lotus feet. You have
Mataji, Haribol. So it is said akinchana gochara, right? Akinchana gochara means somebody who does not have anything else of this material world that he claims to be the proprietor of, right? Such is the qualification of a person who can attract Lord Sri Krishna. If someone thinks that I possess this, I have all of these things, right? I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer, then Krishna likes to stay away from those who claim themselves to be the proprietor because they are in an illusion, they are in a world of illusion. Right? When somebody is in a world of illusion, then they cannot understand who Lord Krishna is. Right? Even if Krishna personally comes and stands in front of them, they're not able to understand that this is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? That is why he is called Akinchana Gochara. Akinchana, which Akinchana means not attracted to anything of this world, not being the possessor of anything of this world. So, apart from Krishna, I have no other possession. Apart from my desire to serve Krishna, I have no other possession. So, Krishna is especially inclined to those devotees who are not attached to anything material, but are simply serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna is also called Asamordhva. That means nobody can be equal to Krishna, nor can anyone be above Krishna. Right here, Rukmini Devi is telling, Krishna also said that, by marriage should happen between equals. Right? You and I are not equal. Right? He was praising Rukmini Devi that you belong to a higher class. You belong to the Kshatriya class, whereas I am in the Yadava Kula. But Rukmini Devi is now saying here that nobody can become equal to you. Anybody possesses any opulence. Those opulences are only given by you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? We all know Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagatyena Chaktena Bhunjita Magrada Kasya Svidanam. Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So who are we to even think that something belongs to us? I am the proprietor, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. And we also go and compete with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's why we have landed ourselves in this situation where we are puna charvita charvananam. We are trying so much to enjoy, but we are getting frustrated with our every attempt to enjoy. Right? And then she's also saying that only the beggars will actually worship you, Krishna. Krishna tells, right? None of the opulent men they even want to be friends with me. Then Rukmini Devi explains that how people who are very rich and famous and happening people, right? They make very nice plans to continue this journey of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, right? Every time they want to make merry and enjoy themselves. And the more they do it, what do? They get entangled more and more in the complexities of the three modes of material nature, right? They think they are the controllers, they are the enjoyers, but they are becoming more and more controlled by the three modes of material nature, right? Just like a person who's intoxicated, he thinks, oh, I have so much of freedom. Whenever I want, I will go to any bar, I will pay money, I have so much of money. I am the proprietor of all this wealth. Whenever I want, I have the freedom to go and drink, right? And make merry. And what is the kind of control he has? He does not even, he cannot even come back to his own home, right? He sometimes half the time he's either fallen down there in that alcohol shop, or he's fallen down on the road somewhere. And he needs 4 people to carry him to his own house that he calls his own, isn't it? So what is this freedom? What is the freedom? Freedom means to have control over oneself, to be able to do what is right, to have the discrimination power, what is right, what is wrong by the study of Shastras, and doing what is right for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. That is real freedom, not the freedom to engage in vices and to feel proud that I am free to do whatever I want. That's not real freedom, because when such kind of freedom is exercised, one actually becomes more and more a captive to the three modes of material nature. Whereas when real freedom is exercised, when we exercise our free will in the right way, engaging in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we get actual freedom from the three modes of material nature. Then we are able to go back home, back to Godhead, unto that realm where we can eternally engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Nadiya Godrume Nityanand Mahajan Patiya Chena Mahate Jivare Karan Shradhavan Jana Hai Shradhavan Jan Hai प्रभु रे यज्ञाय भाई मागिए दीक्षा बोलो कृष्ण Bhavo Krishna, Koro Krishna Siksha. Right? What is Nityananda Prabhu doing? Nityananda Prabhu is sitting in the marketplace of the holy name and begging everybody. Right? Magi Bhiksha. I am begging you. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Siksha. Please chant the names of the Lord. Bhajo Krishna, worship the Lord, worship Lord Krishna. Koro Krishna Siksha. Teach about Lord Krishna. So in this way, beggars, right? The so-called beggars are those who are not attached to these opulences or the illusions of this material world, but they have the real wealth of Krishna Prema. And they derive great pleasure in being beggars. They don't ask the Lord. If you know Lakshmi, Krishna is Lakshmi Pati, isn't it? Lakshmi Sahasrashata Sambrama Sevyamanam, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Millions of Lakshmis are Sarna. If a devotee wants Lakshmi, he asks Krishna. Krishna will give the entire fortune, like how he gave Sudama. Sudama didn't even ask, right? Sudama just came to visit him and gave whatever the best that he could carry with him. He carried and gave to Krishna. He didn't ask Krishna, I want this, I want that. And by just taking one morsel of what Sudama had to offer, that chipped rice, right? Krishna gave more than what he could even ask for, more than what he could even imagine. Right? So we should not be foolish to ask Krishna, I want this, I want that. Right? If we simply serve Krishna, Krishna knows what is best to be given to us. And what Krishna will give us, we will not even in the wildest of our imagination, we will never be able to ask Krishna. Right? Like in Dhruv Maharaj's pastime, it says, right? Dhruv Maharaj himself says that I was seeking for broken pieces of glass, but Krishna, right? He was very fortunate. Why? Because he followed the instructions of his guru. So although his desire was to get golden pieces of glass, right? Although his broken pieces of glass, his intention, his desire was to get that broken pieces of glass, right? Simply to get a kingdom that is higher or bigger than Brahmaji also, right? What did he get? He got the darshan of the Supreme Lord. He had Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, place his conch shell on his head, right? And then he said, I don't want anything. And then Lord Vishnu is saying, oh, you wanted here, you did so much of tapasya. What is it that you wanted? And then Dhruv Maharaj is saying, I don't want anything, right? So a devotee does not want anything. He's happy even if he is a beggar. And whatever situation is, he is placed by Krishna. He simply wants to serve the Lord. And he thinks himself to be the greatest, the most wealthiest person. Golokera Premadana, Harinama Sankirtana, right? He has got the treasure of the holy name. And what better treasure is there apart from the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, right? Every other treasure is subject to destruction, is subject to deterioration. But this holy names of the Lord, the more we use it, the more we chant it, the more we feel attracted towards the holy name, the more the holy name becomes more powerful to kill all of our anarthas, to extinguish our kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. So in this way, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the best treasure ever. And although the devotees seem like beggars, they are the most wealthiest people in all the worlds, in all the three worlds. And because they have they qualify themselves to go back to the spiritual world. And then what is the wealth of this material world? It is not even a farthing like that. Okay, Sarvagopi Shri Mataji, go ahead. You have said that you are penniless, and that is correct. From there.
You have said that you are penniless, and that is correct. For you, distribute yourself completely to these great souls and devotees. Knowing this fact perfectly well, I rejected given such great personalities as Lord Brahma and King Indra. My Lord, the great time factor acts under your direction only. The time factor is so great and powerful. Time factor, something is disturbing. Factor is so great and powerful that within the moments it can affect devastation anywhere within the creation. Considering all these factors, I thought Jarasandha, Shishupala, and similar princes who wanted to marry me to be no more important than ordinary insects. My dear, all-powerful son of Vasudeva, your statement that you had taken shelter within the water of the ocean out of fear of all the great princes is quite unsuitable. For my experience with you contradict this. I have actually seen that you kidnapped me forcibly in the presence of all these princes. At that time of my marriage ceremony, simply by giving a jerk to the string of your bow, you very easily drove the others away and kindly gave me the shelter at your lotus feet. I still remember vividly how you kidnapped me in the same way that a lion forcibly takes its share of the hunted booty. driving away all small elements within the twinkling of an eye. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, I cannot understand your statement that women and other persons who have taken shelter at your lotus feet pass their days only in bereavement. From the history of the world, we can see that princes like Anga, Prithu, Bharata, Yayati, and Gaya were all great emperors of the world, and there were no competitors in their exalted position. But in order to achieve the favor of your lotus feet, they renounced their exalted position and entered the forest to practice penances and austerities. When they voluntarily accepted such a position, accepting your lotus feet as all in all, does it mean that they were in lamentation of bereavement? My dear Lord, you advise me that I can still select another from the princely order and divorce myself and your companionship. But my dear Lord, it is perfectly well known to me that you are the reservoir of all good qualities. Great saintly persons like Narada Muni are always engaged simply in glorifying your transcendental characteristics. Someone who simply takes shelter of such a saintly person immediately becomes free from all material contamination. And when he comes in direct contact with your service, the goddess of fortune agrees to bestow all her blessings. Under the circumstances, what woman who has once heard of your glories from authoritative sources and has somehow or other relished the nectarian fragrance of your lotus feet would be foolishly enough to agree to marry someone of this material world who is always afraid of death, disease, old age, and rebirth? I have therefore accepted your lotus feet, not without consideration, but after mature and deliberate decision. My dear Lord, you are the master of the three words. You can fulfill all the desires of all your devotees in this world and then next, because you are the supreme soul of everyone. I have therefore selected you as my husband, considering you to be the only fit personality. You may throw me in any species of life according to the reactions of my fruitive activity, and I have not the least concern for this. My only ambition is that I may always remain fast to your lotus feet, for you can deliver your devotees from illusory material existence and are always prepared to distribute yourself to your devotees. My
Hare
dear
Krishna.
Lord, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mama Janmanishware Bhavata Bhaktir Ahit. Yeah. So Krishna tells, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells, right? Mama Janadhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadish kamaye. Mama Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahituki Tvai. Right? That's exactly what Rukmani Devi is also telling. Right? I am not qualified to be your equal, but however, you have been so merciful that you abducted me based on my desire from that the demigoddess temple where I was supposed to have got married to Shishupal, right? But you saved me, just like a lion takes away, its share when all the jackals and other wolves are all there trying to get a share. The lion just scoops in and goes away with its share. So like that, you took me away, right? So you are the most powerful. I don't understand when you're saying that you are afraid of these princes. And also he said, and also Rukmini Devi is also saying, right, that although you think that I should have selected one of them as my husband, right, but yet and even if you may think that I'm not qualified to be your wife, I'm not supposed to, I don't have the qualification to stay with you as your wife, and you may even put me down to the lower species of life. Even then, my concern is simply that I remain steadfast your lotus feet, right? So Mama Janmani, that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told in the Shikshastakam prayers. Mama Janmani Janmanishware, life after life after life. Mama Janmani Janmanishware, Bhavadad Bhakti Rahituki Tvai Ahituki. That means there is no cause, there is no reason why I am engaging in your devotional service. It's not that I do ABC, you do ABC because I have done ABC. I have done tapasya, I am doing chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are the things I expect from you. That's not bhakti. Right? What is bhakti? Anukuliyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. Right? Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukuliyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktiruttama. Right? Not expecting anything else from Krishna, but doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. That is called Bhakti. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. Everything has to be done for the pleasure of Rishikesha, and that is called Bhakti. Okay, Leelanandini Mataji, go ahead. My dear Lord. Mataji, you have to unmute yourself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam. Yes, Mataji, audible.
Okay. My dear Lord, you have advised me to select one of the princes such as Shishupala, Jarasandha or Dandavakra. But what is their position in this world? They are always engaged in hard labor to maintain their household life. Just like the bulls working hard day and night with an oil pressing machine, they are compared to asses, beasts of burden. They are always honored like dogs and they are miserly like cats. They have sold themselves like slaves to their wives. Any unfortunate woman who has never heard of your glories may accept such a man as their husband. But a woman who has learned about you that you are praised not only in this world but the halls of the great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva will not accept anyone besides you as her husband. A man within this material world is just a dead body. In fact, superficially, the living entity is covered by this body, which is nothing but a bag of skin decorated with a bird and beard and mustache, hairs on the body, nails on the fingers, and hairs on the head. Within this decorated bag are within this decorated bag are bunches of muscles, bundles of bones, and pools of blood, always mixed with stool, urine, mucus, bile, and polluted air, and enjoyed by different kinds of insects and germs. A foolish woman accepts such a dead body as her husband and, in sheer misunderstanding, loves him as her dear companion. This is possible only because such a woman has never relished the ever blissful fragrance of a lotus feet. My dear lotus-eyed husband, you are self-satisfied. You do not care whether or not I am beautiful or qualified. You are not at all concerned about it. Therefore, your non-attachment for me is not at all astonishing. It is quite natural. You cannot be attached to any woman, however exalted her position and beauty. Whether you are attached to me or not, may my devotion and attention be always engaged at your lotus feet. The material mode of passion is also your creation, and so when you passionately glance upon me, I accept it as the greatest boon of your life, of my life. I am ambitious only for such auspicious moments. After hearing Rukmani's statement and her clarification of each and every word he had used to arouse her anger of love toward him, Krishna addressed Rukmani as follows. My dear chaste wife, my dear princess, I expected such an explanation from you. And only for this purpose did I speak of all these joking words so that you might be cheated of the real point of view. Now my purpose has been served. The wonderful explanation you have given of my every word is completely factual and approved by me. Oh, most beautiful Rukmani, you are my dearest wife, dearmost wife. I am greatly pleased to understand how much love you have for me. Please take it for granted that no matter what ambition and desire you might have, and no matter what you might expect from me, I am always at your service. And it is a fact also that my devotees, my dear knows friends and servitors are always free from material contamination, even though they are not inclined to ask me for such liberation. My devotees never desire anything from me except to be engaged in my service. Yet, because they are completely dependent upon me, even if they are fond to ask something from me that is not material. Such ambitions and desires, instead of becoming the cause of material bondage, becomes the source of liberation from this material world. My dear chaste and pious wife, I have tested on the basis of strict chastity, your love for your husband, and you have passed the examination most successfully. I have purposely agitated you by speaking many words not applicable to your character, but I am surprised to see that not a pinch of your devotion to me has been deviated from its fixed position. My dear wife, I am the bestower of all benedictions, even up to the standard of liberation from this material world, and it is I only who can stop the continuation of material existence and call one back home, back to golden. One whose devotion for me is unadulterated worships me for some material benefit, just to keep himself in the world of material happiness, culminating in the pleasure of sex life. One who engages himself in severe penances and austerities just to attain this material happiness is certainly under the illusion of my external energy. Persons who are engaged in my devotional service simply for the purpose of material gain and satisfaction are certainly very foolish. For material happiness based on sex life is available in the most abominable species of life, such as the dogs and hogs. No one should therefore try to approach me for such happiness, which is available even if one is put into hellish condition of life. It is better, therefore, for persons who are simply after material happiness and not after me to remain in that hellish condition. Material contamination is so strong that everyone is working very hard day and night for material happiness. The show of religion, austerity, penance, humanitarianism, philanthropy, politics, science, everything is aimed at realizing some material benefit. For the immediate success of material benefit, materialistic persons generally worship different demigods, and under the spell of material propensities, they sometimes take to the devotional service of the Lord. But sometimes it so happens that if a person sincerely serves to the Lord and at the same time maintains material ambitions, the Lord very kindly removes the source of material happiness. Not finding any recourse in material happiness, the devotee then engages himself absolutely in pure devotional service. Lord Sri Krishna
Hare Krishna.
continue. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Bol.
So this is very wonderful, right? So it is mentioned here that how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, right, even though he may give some situation where, it is expected that, a devotee in this particular situation is not expected to surrender to Krishna, but he's expected to give up, right, because of some kind of poverty, some kind of, the loss of a near or dear one, etc., etc. In whatever situation, right? It's not that you already heard this, that a devotee is never emotionless, right? A devotee always feels separation from other devotees, right? And always feels for them. That's the reason we're able to feel empathy. We're able to put ourselves into the shoes of others and able to help others to grow in devotional service and in the association of those devotees who are already advanced, right? We take their association, we give association to those who are newer in Krishna consciousness. In this way, there are a lot of emotions. It's not that we have no emotions, right? We are kind of stones. No, the emotions are there, but in whatever situation, whether of happiness or of distress, a devotee never stops engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord, knowing well that everyone in this material world, one understands that person or that thing in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that connection to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always there. One always trusts the Lord in all the situations, whether in a hellish situation, whether it is a happy situation, whether it is a sad situation. Everything has been arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one continues to perform devotional service in all situations, taking that to be the mercy of the Lord, then one becomes the recipient of the, one really becomes qualified to receive the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna. So like that. So one passes the test, and Krishna is most happy when his devotees pass the tests that are actually given. Right? Even the pure devotees of the Lord are tested by the Lord sometimes. Here we see Rukmini Devi was tested by the Lord, and Rukmini Devi came out flying in flying colors. Right? While we are conditioned souls, Maya Devi tests us. So when we pass those tests, we become more and more evolved in our Krishna consciousness. And even when we go back to the spiritual world, we will definitely be tested by Krishna. So in all cases, right, our desire should only be to serve and satisfy and please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right. Last two paragraphs. Let's complete it. Anyone else wants to read who is not read thus far? Okay, Archana Mataji, go ahead. Lord Krishna continued.
Hare Krishna, Pranamataji. The Lord Krishna continued, my dear parents, my dear best of queens, I clearly understand that you have no material ambition. Your only purpose is to serve me. Exemplary, unalloyed devotion service not only can bestow upon the devotional devotee liberation from this material world, but it also promotes him to the spiritual world to be eternally engaged in my service. Persons too much addicted to the material happiness cannot render such service. Women whose hearts are polluted and full of material desires devise various means of sense gratification while outwardly showing themselves to be great devotees. My dear honored wife, Although I have thousands of wives, I don't think that any of them can love me more than you. The practical proof of your extraordinary position is that although you had never seen me before our marriage and you had simply heard about me from a third person, still your faith in me was so much fixed that even in the presence of my many qualified rich, many of them at your husband, but as your husband, but insisted on having me. You neglected all the princes present, and very politely you sent me a confidential letter inviting me to kidnap you. While I was kidnapping you, your elder brother Rukmini violently protested and fought with me. As a result of the fight, I defeated him mercilessly and disfigured his body. At the time of Aniruddha's marriage, when we were all playing chess, there was another fight with your brother Rukmini on a controversial verbal point, and my elder brother Valrama finally killed him. I was surprised to see that you did not utter even a word of protest over this incident. Because of your great anxiety that you might be separated from me, you suffered all the consequences without speaking even a word. As a result of this great silence, my dear wife, you have purchased me for all time. I have come eternally under your control. You sent your messenger was a little delay in my arriving on the spot. You saw the whole world as vacant. At that time, you concluded that your beautiful body was not fit to be touched by anyone else. Therefore, thinking that I was not coming, you decided to commit suicide and immediately end that body. My dear Rukmini, such great and exalted love for me will always remain within my soul. As far as I am concerned, it is not within my power to repay you for the unalloyed devotion to me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna certainly has no business being anyone's husband or son or father because everything belongs to him and everyone is under his control. He does not require anyone's help for his satisfaction. He is Atma Rama, self satisfied. He can derive all pleasure by himself without anyone's help. But when Lord descends to play the part of a human being, he plays the role either as a husband, son, friend, or enemy in full perfection. As such,
Feeling better?
of Rukminiji, he enjoyed conjugal love in complete perfection. According to Vedic literature, although polygamy is allowed, none of one's wife should be ill-treated. In other words, one may take many wives only if he is able to satisfy all of them equally as an ideal householder. Otherwise, it is not allowed. Lord Krishna is a world teacher. Therefore, even though he had no need for a wife, he expanded himself into as many forms as he had wives, and he lived with them as an ideal householder, observing the regulative principles, rules, and commitments in accordance with the Vedic injunctions and social laws and customs of society. For each of his 16,108 wives, he simultaneously maintained different palaces, different establishments, and different atmospheres. Thus, the Lord allowed, although one exhibited himself as 16,108 ideal householders. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport of 68th chapter of Krishna.
Talks between Krishna and Rukmini. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, Mataji, for completing the study of chapter number 60. This is very wonderful, right? It is not that Krishna is in need of our service, but we are in need of rendering service to Krishna so that we can purify ourselves. We can go back home, back to Godhead. We can be eternally situated in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the pleasure is always eternally ours, right? The pleasure of getting the opportunity to serve Guru and Gauranga, the pleasure and the to get the opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas. That opportunity itself is so blissful that we should embrace such opportunities with both hands. We should grab such opportunities with both hands and render service to those devotees who are pleasing Guru and Gauranga. Right? By serving Lord Krishna and by serving all of these devotees who are dear to Lord Shri Krishna, right? We will please our gurus, we will please Gauranga Mahaprabhu, right? And how Krishna is saying here, right? If we surrender to Krishna and please Krishna, then Krishna sells himself to such a devotee. That's what he says. I'm now sold out to you, Rukmini Devi, because of the way you reacted, because of the way you have showed your surrenderance and love towards me, right? That's why Krishna makes everything. If somebody wants wealth, right? Chaturveda bhajanti imam jana sukritan arjuna arto jignashu artharthi jnani cha paratrashava. Right? If someone wants wealth, name, fame, glory, everything Krishna will give very easily. Right? Kamastasya hrita jnana prapadyate anya devataha. Some may worship the devatas also to get such material things, right? But even if you have such material desires, Krishna says, you worship me. If it is beneficial for you, I give it to you. If it is not beneficial for you, I will remove such desire from your heart. And in this way, I'll give you bhakti, right? We can always remember Dhruv Maharaj's pastime here, right? So in all situations, whether we want something or whether we want name, fame, glory, money, wealth, whatever else we want in life, we have to simply worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. If Krishna gives us, then we are in all gratitude, we accept it, and then we thank Lord Shri Krishna. If Krishna does not give it, then it is better that we don't have those things. Right? It is not right to go and go behind some demigods and asking for those things because we don't know what is good for us. Krishna is our eternal friend. Krishna is our eternal well-wisher. Right? Surgam Sarvabhutanam. Right? He is our eternal well-wisher and friend. So we should trust Krishna, surrender to Krishna, render loving devotional service to Krishna, ask all of our desires, if at all we have, we can ask Krishna. And Rukmini is such a wonderful example. Even Rukmini developed attraction to Krishna only by hearing about Krishna. So we all have the opportunity to hear about Krishna. Every day we are hearing about Krishna. So we can also develop the same kind of attraction that Rukmini developed for Lord Sri Krishna. Right? She also developed an attraction based on simply hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We all have that opportunity to hear about Krishna and to please Krishna, to render devotional service to Krishna, to serve, satisfy and please Krishna and his devotees. And at every opportunity, we have a free will. What do we want to do? Do we want to please the Lord or do we want to give some excuses? It's all a matter of free will that we have at every point in time. So with this, we'll end our chapter number 60 and then continue with chapter number 61 tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. So we'll continue with chapter number 61. Grantaraj Shri Krishna Book ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. We'll quickly do about 2 minutes Harinam Sankirtan. And then, we also request the devotees to switch on your cameras so that we can also see who all have joined our session today. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunnavadi Asya Dishadarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda We are Advaita Radha Sri Vasadi Pura Bhakta Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Sri Vasadi Pura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gaurani Jai, Jai Jai Jagannath Jai, Jai Baladev Jaya, Jai Subhadra Jaya, Jai Sudarshan, Jai Bala Gopal, Jai Nini Vittal, Jai Nini Singha, Jai Prahlad Singha, Jai Chakrabu, Jai Saligram Sila, Jai Griva, Saligram Sila Gopal, Jai Saligram Sila, Purvandiri Saligram Sila, Vinal Singha Saligram Sila, Guru Ayur Jai Radha Krishna Jai Radha, Giridhari Radha, Rasa Bihari Radha, Gopinath Shri Radhe Jai Radha, Mohan Radha, Govinda Radha, Gopinath Shri Radhe Jai Radha, Bihari Radha, Vrindavan Chandra Radha, Virari Radhe Radhe, Radhe 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 Radhe, Radhe 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 Radhe, Vira Radhe, as it goes Radhe, as Guru Parampara Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Guru Deva Jaya, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. कलियुग प्रसिद्ध पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। श्रीधर प्रभु, सर्वगोपीश्वरी माता जी, राजेश्वरी माता जी, अमृतमय माता जी, अर्चना माता जी, श्रीमती श्याम प्रिया माता जी, हरजीत माता जी, नामेश प्रभु जी, शोभा माता जी, लीनंदनी माता जी, कृपा में सीता देवी माता जी, मानसी माता जी, देवल माता जी, नागवणी माता जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर जॉइनिंग इन। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। Thank you, devotees. Meet you all at 5 a.m. Indian Standard Time for our Brahma Muhurta chanting session. Tomorrow and at 1 o'clock, we will continue with our chapter number 61 of Krishna book. Thank you.